Hi, this is Anil and welcome to the video tutorial for the Learning Guide on C++ programming. So in this tutorial we're going to learn about the private access specifier in a class. So all of you know that an access specifier specifies where a class member function or a member variable is available. So here, just for the demonstration purpose, we're going to create a class called human. So I'm going to create that class before this main function, so it's going to be class human, and then as the access specifier we need to write the keyword private. So in the previous tutorials we were writing public, but here we need to write private and then a colon, and then we're going to declare the member variables or the properties or the methods. So in this case, for the demonstration purpose, we're going to create a variable age, and it is of type integers. Okay, and the next thing is, once we have a private property in our class, this private property, or if we have a method, is not available outside this class. Not even in main function you can't use that, only we can use it inside this class. So another thing is, in a class we can have private, public and protected sections, and there we can declare the member variables or the properties and the methods. Okay, in our main function I'm going to create a variable of this class human. So it's going to be the class name human and then the variable name, let's say Anil. And if I try to access this age, anil.age, and let's initialize this one to, let's say, a value of 25, and if I save this, I'm gonna build and run, you'll get some errors. And if I open up the logs, age is private. And the next thing is, okay, how to use this private properties in our programs. For that we can create the public methods, and from using that public methods we can access that. For example, here we're going to create another section of public, and we're going to create a function void, let's say, display age. And this display age is a method of this class human, and that's why it can access all the properties and the methods of this class. That's why we can access this private property age also. So here we're just gonna print out the value, so it's gonna be cout and age. And before that, to initialize this age property, I'm gonna create another function, and I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna paste it after this display, and I'm gonna change this one to, let's say, set age, and we're gonna get a value, so it's gonna be int, and let me call it as value, and I'm gonna save that in my age variable, so it's gonna be age equal to value. So now we have a private property and two public functions. So using these public functions we are accessing this private property. Just to demonstrate that, here after creating an object of this human class, I'm gonna write Anil dot the object name dot set age, and I need to pass a value 24, and then to display the age we're gonna use Anil dot display age, and that's it. I'm gonna save this, I'm gonna build and run this. It says 24. So if you have a private property or a private method in your program, you can't access that directly. So the next thing is, what is the use of these private properties or the private methods? So in a class, if you don't want the information to be displayed or accessed outside the class, at that time you can use it. Let's say in this human example, we don't want this age to be known outside this class. I don't want anybody to access my age. If they want to know my age, then they should ask me by using this public display age method. And here in this display age function or the method, I can display my age however I want. I may display it as younger or I may display it as older, because the user don't has the access to the age directly, so whatever I display to him, he should believe that. So here what I can do is I can make this function to display my age 5 year younger. So I can write age minus 5 here. And the next thing is, if you have a private method in your class, that method is also not accessible directly from the outside. So you can only use that in your program. Just to demonstrate these two things, I'm gonna create another method inside this private section, and I'm gonna call it as, let's say, int get age, and it's gonna be return. I'm gonna display my age 5 years younger, so age minus 5. So we can use this get age method in our display method. So here it's gonna be get age. Here what we are doing is we are creating a private method, and we are using that private method in our public method, and from this main function we are accessing that public method only, because whatever the private properties of a class is not accessible outside from that class. So here we're gonna call this display age, no problem, same. So I'm gonna save this, I'm gonna build and run this program, and it says 19, but that's not my age because my age is 24. That's why we can say that this private properties or this private access specifiers are normally used to hide the internal working or the internal representation of data, and by using these private methods we can hide the internal workings. And these private methods are useful if you want to divide your logic to modules, just like the way we have done here, and we can only use the private properties and the methods inside that class only. So that's it guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.